Hi guys. Courage to Change, June 3rd. In order to keep family and friends from interfering with their... Wait, let me start this over. In order to keep family and friends from interfering with their drinking, alcoholics sometimes create diversions by accusing or provoking. At such a time, we who have been affected by someone else's drinking tend to react, to argue, and to defend ourselves. As a result, nobody has to look at the alcoholism, for we are too busy focusing on the particular point being argued. Any topic will do. And unfortunately, what we defend against, we make real. When we take step one, we admit that we are powerless over this disease. We do not have the strength necessary to fight it. Defending ourselves by engaging in arguments with actively drinking or otherwise irrational people is as fruitless as donning armor to protect ourselves from a nuclear explosion. Only a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Today's reminder: I'm responsible for taking the actions necessary to keep myself safe. But when my safety is not at risk, I can take time to make choices about my responses. I don't have to react instantly to provocation. When someone's provoking you, provocation. Not sure how to say that. Provocation. And I'm not obligated to justify myself to anyone. By turning my higher power for protection rather than my wits or my will, I avail myself the best defense possible. Well, this is a great reading, and I want to talk about it. There's a lot of you that are living with active alcoholics and addicts. I know because I talk to you. I know because you contact me and you say, oh my God, this is what's happening. This is what he said. This is what she said. This is what they're doing. Okay, this is it. Alcoholics will try to divert your attention to anything but their drinking or using. They will make shit up if they have to. They get mean, they get angry, they want to argue, they attack. And people say that they just couldn't get them to understand. You're not going to get them to understand. Stop trying. Do not argue with an active alcoholic. If someone is drunk, you might as well just forget it. Okay? They're not going to remember it anyway. They're arguing with you. They're getting attention. They're diverting things. They're gaslighting you. They're trying to make you think you're crazy and you're the problem. Okay? So don't get in the ring. It's just like, why would you get in the ring with Mike Tyson? You wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't get in the ring with Mike Tyson with one arm tied behind your back. And that's what happens when you love somebody and you get in the ring. Forget it, right? There is no reason. Let me explain to you. The person who loves you, the person who is the caretaker or the person who's worried, the person who's concerned, the person who wants to help you, right, has this feeling of just utter, like, I need to help. I need them to understand. On the flip side, you have someone who's drinking who doesn't even know what day it is, nor do they care. You know, they're so engrossed in the disease. They're not thinking about anything but how to get more. You got to understand that. Even if it's way down the road, they're setting it up. They're crying now. They're making you feel bad now. Or they're being angry now. So later, they can get what they want. It's the disease. See, it's mental illness. Alcoholism is a mental illness. You're not dealing with someone that's, they're not stupid. They're sick. Think about that. So why would you argue with someone like that? Why would you try to get them to understand your point? They can't, right? First of all, they're drunk. I did a video the other day and I couldn't post it on Instagram because it was too long. And I did it in particular for one woman who I've recently met, who I consider a friend, and she's suffering terrible. And she's suffering from alcoholism, yet she's just not the one that's drinking, right? Someone in her family is. And she's suffering. And I did an analogy. If you really want to see this, go to YouTube and look for, I think it's called Arguing. I think I shared it on Facebook. I think I got it on Facebook, but it was too long for Instagram. Arguing with an active alcoholic or an abusive alcoholic. It's on YouTube, and it talks about if you walked into a bar. You've been in a bar before. You go in a bar and there's one guy or one woman at the bar. It used to be me, but she's sitting at the bar or he's sitting at the bar, and they're louder than everyone else. And they're telling the bartender, "I love you, Joe. Did I ever tell you I love you?" The next minute, "Shut up, Joe. Just shut up. You don't understand." And you're over in your booth going, "Good Lord, someone shut this guy up," right? Oh, he has had too much to drink. If he came over and said something to you like, "Hey, I used to date your mother," you wouldn't believe him. He doesn't know you and he doesn't know your mother, right? He's drunk. You would just go, "Get out of here, you drunk asshole." Why is it different with people that we love? Why do we believe what they say? Why do we believe the mean stuff they say? They're drunk. So when I was running the treatment center, this might sound like I'm going off on a tangent, but I know someone needs to hear this, okay? When I was running the treatment center and I took all the intake calls. I was the executive director and the intake person. And I would take the calls. And when someone called me and they wanted help, I would talk to them. And then at a certain point in the day, I couldn't talk to them anymore. I knew, don't talk to them anymore. You go talk to them in the morning, right? Because they get too drunk. It's always best to talk to somebody in the morning. By 2:00, they're passed out again. They're drinking again by noon. And if they wanted to come to treatment and they told me they want to come, I got everything done. I've got an Uber picking you up in 5 minutes. Always pick them up in the morning. Never try to pick them up in the afternoon because they're already too drunk and you can't talk to them. I mean, they don't remember. "Sure, I'll be ready." They don't even, "What? I talked to you yesterday? I don't remember talking to you." So, why are we doing that? First thing, if you know what you're up against, and don't take it personal. It's got nothing to do with you, right? So it's talking about that. Sometimes they're too drunk. Sometimes they are. They're trying to turn the focus on someone else, right? The dog, the damn dog. We need to do something about this dog. And you start going, "Well, I took him to obedience school and I did the best I could." Why are you doing that? It's not about the dog. They just drank a fifth of whiskey in the garage and they're just trying to divert your attention. You know what I mean? It's all smoke and mirrors. You have to be really spiritually grounded to live and deal with an alcoholic. And you can, but you got to know what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? I deal with alcoholics all the time. I get terrible hate. People hate me and the next day, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I said that," And I just know, you're drinking. I know, I get it. It doesn't mean you get to talk to me like that. And doesn't mean I'm going to answer the phone. I don't even answer the phone from people if I know they're drinking, if it's after like 2, because I don't want to talk to them. This friend of mine the other day said, I was talking to Mary Lou and she sounded like she had a stroke. And I said, "Well, what time was it?" She said, "About 5. I said, "Isn't she your friend that kind of drinks a lot?" "Yeah, well, she called you when she was, she did a drunk call. She had a few drinks and called you. She didn't have a stroke. She's drunk." She had a stroke, someone would have called and told you, right? She's just drinking. So you got to know what you're dealing with. And it says here, defending ourselves by engaging in arguments, with actively drinking irrational people is fruitless. Forget it. See, that's insanity. Trying to talk someone, "Please, please put the bottle down. Please don't go out tonight." They don't get it. They're drunk. They're going to do what they're going to do. Don't even waste your time. The only hope you have is their own consequences will show them that something needs to change. You just need to keep focusing on yourself. You need to know that you're powerless. And that what's in this last line, I like it. Only a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. right? It'll give you the, like, ugh, why am I talking to him right now? Or why am I talking to her right now? You know, they can't even stand up. You know what I mean? They spilled their drink, right? I'm not talking to them. So a higher power can restore you to sanity, and a higher power can restore them to sanity. Their higher power, not yours. And it's the same thing. Like if you're in a restaurant and your loved one goes nutso and starts drinking too much and starts swearing at the waitress, you can get up and walk out. One, because they're not going to remember that you even walked out. You know what I mean? I mean, they might be mad in the moment, but then in the moment, you know, if they go crazy or something, you know, and someone calls the police and the police come into the restaurant, come up to the table and say, you know, hey, lady, you got to settle down. You could just sit there and watch. You don't have to respond. Let the police handle it, right? Just because he's your husband or she's your wife or your kid, maybe the police do need to handle it, right? Not your problem. And I'm talking about adults that are over 18. You know, I think, you know, if they're gonna mouth off to a cop and the cop books them and takes them in, well, then maybe they should be booked and taken in. You know what I mean? These are the consequences that change someone's lives. You can't get in there and change that. You can't be involved. So don't even argue with someone that's drinking or using. It's fruitless. It's like wah 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 wah. You know, they don't know. So just don't even do it, and don't take it personally, you know. And then the next day when they sober up, you can say, you know what, I'm not doing that. Don't talk to me like that. You get that drunk to talk to me like that. Don't drink, you know, because I'm not. Don't do that, you know. And you know, maybe you can't do that. Maybe you're not strong enough to do that yet. But if you keep pursuing your own program, it'll become pretty clear what you want to put up with and what you don't. Life is so short. Right? And there is a solution for you. So pursue it and trust God that everything else is going to work out. But don't get in there and stir the pot. My friend Gordon says, play dead. Just play dead. Just shut your mouth. Roll over. Right? What's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean? You end up with a little peace of mind. So I know I probably talk a little bit differently about this. I know there's other people I've heard talk about courage to change, and they come out at it with a little different angle than I do. I know I'm a little more blunt, and I'm a little more, you know, some people think I'm a little crass about it, a little mean, but it's day to day. If you're living in a house with an alcoholic, it's daily combat. So you gotta have some good understanding, so you have a different way to react, and that is don't respond. Just watch the show. Nothing's gonna happen. They're never gonna remember. Okay, so just take a break, just breathe. Now if they're hurting you or your children, that's a different matter, and I can talk about that on a different day. I talk about that a lot in my other videos, but I'm trying to stick to the reading at hand on these. So I would love to hear what you have to say. And if you don't agree with me, I want to know. That's what the whole point is. I want to know. I want to hear someone else's aspect of this, their perception. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.